Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we do begin, let me go ahead and give a brief little review. In the last part, we had a number of things happening. Now, Deku, he came back to the family, and he had an honest chat with Kami about what happened in Ryoko's territory. Today, he went back to the agency and had a chat with Sir Nadai, face to face. The man, he was glad to hear that Deku was recovering. However, after Deku heard about the events of the war that's broken out, he made things quite aware to Sir Nadai. He wants to be involved. He wants to try and do what he can in order to make sure their people are safe. He has a number of reservations and conflicting thoughts in his own mind. But, for now, he's continued to fight for the Yagi family. If his allegiances ever do change or they throw him under the bus, that can come with a number of problems. Though Sir Night-Eye, he's seen how Deku has changed. He's not going to follow orders, sit back and listen. He's explicitly told Sir Night-Eye to put him in the action. And if he doesn't, he'll go out there to it himself. He wants to help, he wants to do something. But the man has a number of reservations since he thought they lost One for All and Deku in the process. The idea that he beat Muscular was a lucky fluke in the man's mind. Deku, however, he wants to do something. And Night-Eye, yeah. He might be able to come up with a few different things, but for now he's trying to figure out what. Get Deku involved in some minor altercations? That would probably be the best way to sate his eagerness for war. However, Deku went to go check out his battlesuit after being informed of its arrival. He got a bunch of brand new toys and discovered that Toru was spying on him. Now, after this happened, they went down to a meeting room where Deku talked to everyone and they started filling him in on what he's been missing. Things with the Endeavor family, the Genist family, yeah. Right now, they have all been helping in minor ways. Not directly involved in the conflict, but if things do get worse, they may need to step in. Right now, they're leaving things to more experienced people. They're acting as support. But Deku decided to give them the lie. He's well aware that people are already talking about him in many ways. And the idea that one of them could turn on him, it's an idea. Though, at the same time, it gave them a minor little bit of trust. Technically, it's not a complete lie. He is All Might's son. Be it, he's just the predecessor to the same power All Might had. Now, everyone seemed quite surprised to hear this. And Deku, he heard about how they had to talk to Ragdoll about getting involved. She was still on site, helping to try and run certain operations. And that's something that Deku was quite happy to hear about. Him, Bakugo, and Kimi went off to find her. Now, Ragdoll, she got a call from Sir Night-Eye earlier. Izuku Midoriya, as she's heard, is in the agency today. And the young man and him had a conversation. He wants to be useful and go to the front lines. As she does understand, he's a very powerful young man. That's an understatement. And he can be beneficial to them. Though he did tell her one thing. Make sure the young man, if he does do something reckless or decide to try to do something stupid, he gets his orders properly. Number one, if the young man is not paired with people who can keep up with him, there is the possibility he may either be lost to the enemy or killed. Number two, they need to monitor him, keep an eye on him. They lost him once before and they don't want that to happen again. Number three, the kid's strong. He will give her full discretion, but if something happens to him, she may be the person the backlash does fall back on. He is someone who is very important in the family ranks. And this, it did kind of surprise her. I mean, yeah, this kid took down the former number 2. And she's number 8. The kid, if he wanted to, could speed blitz her and kill her. But to be given such a direct order by the boss? Yeah. This kid is either insane or, well, he's got gold in his veins. She's heard about what he can do. And whenever he came strolling into the room in his battle suit, she saw him, Kami, and Bakugo. The trio, they're already going to give her a headache. She just knew that. She sat all 3 of them down and told them about what's been happening. Right now, they've been doing some grunt work. Kami's team and Bakugo's team have mainly been in charge of helping run supplies and providing security for some important resources. The city that's currently under siege, Deku does get to hear about. The Endeavor family, they reclaimed his hometown. And that does make Deku go a little wide-eyed. As there is where Kami, she does go to somewhat laugh a little, talking about how she had the same reaction. And Ragdoll does go look at Deku, him informing her about the situation. And she does a nod, talking about how that's good then. They know the streets. Right now, they do have their own ways to sneak into the city, but it is a little costly. They may be able to get around Hawks' patrols thanks to some of their own resources, some of their own knowledge, their own little network. But that's the tricky part. They either need to go underground or from the sky. The city's been cut off and it's dark. So if they do come in under nightfall, no one should see them arrive. But they may also encounter trouble if things go bad. Right now, if she does send a full combat deployment of one of their squads, she need to know who she's sending and why. She's firm on that. She's a lot of things, but she's not going to be the bitch who sends kids to die. Especially with the rumors of the big man, the big red bastard, being there himself. It's just that simple. That's fair. If you're going to be facing off against Enji, that could be problematic. Long time no see, All Might. Got something to add? You ever face off against him? I faced him before. Things didn't go very well for him. I know he may have bought a gnome or two once. Then again, I've also heard he enhanced himself. What do we know about him and his son? Deku asking out loud. Good question. We know that his son has a powerful fire quirk, as well as potentially other abilities, along with more people in his top 10. As for him, It's rumored that Endeavor has more than 4 quirks. No one's really ever been able to confirm it. Some know that he has a fire quirk and the counter ice. That's really all. Though, as for Hawks, he's more tricky. Information about him is scarce. We don't know if that's by design or if no one really does know anything. As far as we're aware, he's the biggest alarm bell Endeavor has. Either A, he's got no modifications, or B, he's got at least 2. His quirk and something else. That's a problem. Right now, the Endeavor family, they're sending some of their heavy hitters out there. I've heard that there's a Nomu, but it could also be a soldier. We're not too sure from what they're saying. How can you not be sure? Because the only people who are able to report on it are injured and part of a team that was nearly wiped out. That's how, kid. I got that. Continue. That's all. Listen, if we do send you in, it can get problematic, it can get bloody, and it can get bad real fast. Right now, everyone's pinned down and the city is surrounded. We can send you through the tunnels or through the air. The tunnels? Old subway tunnels. There used to be a train that used to lead around Japan a lot. I believe that the train stations, the yard lines, they're still being maintained. They should be. If you're able to, we might be able to send out someone who can meet you there. Someone with an earth ability. If possible, they can dig you a new path if things are getting bad, or if Endeavor's faction has collapsed the tunnels. We don't have anyone here. We might. But again, then there's the air option. You might get unlucky and run into Hawks. You're a powerful, kid, but I think I can take him. You're powerful, kid, but I don't know if you can. I don't know if you just got lucky or what. But taking down Endeavor, taking down Hawks, that's going to be tricky. Endeavor, I think it's nearly impossible. Besides, just because you took down someone by luck doesn't mean you're going to win. I don't think you should doubt me. I'm not doubting you. I don't know what you can do. You're young, dumb, and got a lucky win. That's how I see it. Last person I knew who did that ended up dead. And I'd rather not see you repeat the same mistake. I have my orders and you have yours. Follow what I say. Isn't that right? I could follow them. You could? I could. Or I can try and help us. Our people are surrounded, they're stuck, right? They need help. If that means taking them out, then let's push back. Get our people out of there and save them from that poison. I see. We can send in supplies. As far as I understand, it will be hard and tricky. We'll send you all in with a few things. But just know moving it's going to be hard. It won't be easy. That's fine. Is there any way to send me through the air? Do you want to go from the sky? Yes. If possible, they won't know I'm coming. They won't? Yes. You've talked to Night Eye? Yes. What did he tell you? He told me to still keep an eye on you. That's all? Yes. Now, if you want to ask me more questions, I'm not going to answer them. I like your tenacity, kid, but don't be dumb. I'm not. Listen, I'm sure I can handle this. From the sky. That's alright then. What about you two? Does the sky sound fair? I'll need a parachute. Besides, coming in from the ground, that'll take longer, won't it? It will. It'll also be a bit more work, a lot more trickier. If we do send our supplies in a sweeping run, we might have to sneak you in. Though, you'd all have to be careful with your parachutes. Yeah, I don't really need one. Bakugo does as I say, putting his hands behind his head, talking about it. Just give him his gauntlets and things will be simple. I won't need one either. You serious? I'll be fine. I don't intend to land in the city. I intend to keep an eye on the supplies. That sounds stupid. Maybe. But our people need them? Drop as many as you can. And if the Endeavor family wants to try and be active and move, then we'll give them something to move against. That's alright. We might be able to manage that. I can take out Hawks, and everyone can focus on everyone else. You're sure you can do that, kid? Hawks is dangerous. He's got a bounty on his head. Okay, and? I warned you. I'll give you this. If you fuck up, or if you get injured, that's on you. Besides, we'll make a deal. 50-50, fuck off, 70-30. Her gonna smile. No. 50-50, 70-30. I could just go after him myself. You could. But then you might be able to desert her. Yeah, but if I bring back his head, that'll be a boon, won't it? It will be. You'll get paid anyway. Yeah. So just take the money. 70-30. Sure, whatever, fine. Good job, kid. Nana does as say, mentally patting Deku on the back. And Deku, he does even go to hear Bon just won't laugh talking about it. He might have been able to talk her into 20%. And Deku does it a smile. Right now, Ragdoll turning to the others, informing them. She'll send in a whole dozen of them. Right now, pick 6 of their people to go. Volunteers would be advised, though pick them based on their abilities. There's going to be a lot of people there, and the locals who will help cover them, they're locals, not fighters. A lot of their people like their way of life. And if the city does change hands, well, the Endeavor family might not be too happy to let the locals survive. They've pissed them off enough with their tactics. So an extermination is likely. If their people die, then it's a failure. Her going to smash her hand on the table and go to groan. Going to tell them all to leave. And they do get to do so. Her leaning back in her chair and being a little annoyed. Though she does get a smile, the tenacity of youth, with the way the kid held himself, maybe he could take out Hawks. Though it's got her blood pumping just a little bit. Kid's got fire in his eyes. She likes that. Though, if he does win, she'll get 30%. Then again, taking out Muscular. She'd love to ask the big guy about it, but no one's seen him. Not since the fight. The guy should have come back to the family, right? I mean, he should have. Though, there's still that bounty out on his head, and how he needs to clear it. Now, with that being said, everyone, they do start to pack up. Right now, a lot of things are being set up. They do get delayed by a week. And that was already after being told they'd depart in several days. Deku is annoyed. He does start pumping iron just a bit more, eating a lot more. And by the time he is able to leave already a week overdue, he does start hearing about how the Endeavor family, they have gained a small bit more ground in the city. And that it's become annoying. Right now, he'd like to hear about them having a bit of a win. But clearly not. Deku does feel back up to full strength, but he was already willing to fight as is. If the delay was because of him, that makes him feel bad. Right now, it's pissing him off. Though he does go to arrive at the airport with the others, them talking about what to do. There are 6 people Deku's never met before. And then there are the members of his team. Right now, Deku, he is intrigued to know about what they may be doing. Right now, Bakugo, he does go to stand there. Cargo pants, boots, a vest, and gauntlets on his arms. And that, it does look good. You do have Asui. You do have Kirishima. You do have Shinso. And Deku is looking around, trying to find Kami. Though he doesn't really see her. He only sees 4 people so far. Him, that's 5. And Danger Sense gonna try to alert him. Him turning his head as he does, go to watch one of the teammates fall over. And Toru, she does another yelp. Huh. You good? Deku staring right at her. And she is slightly annoyed, looking out from behind someone. Deku seeing the floating gear she's wearing. I'm fine. Where's Kami? Another assignment came up. Yeah. She tell you about it? She told me something, but I didn't think she'd be... Never mind. If I can, I'll try and talk to her later. Them boarding onto the plane as it does a takeoff. The large military aircraft does get up into the air, and the flight does begin. The whole team, they do go over quite a number of things. And Deku, he does just sit there, silently sitting against the wall, and with his eyes closed. Right now, he is trying to contact the 3rd user just to talk to him. Try and see about his quirk. The guy has told him quite a bit about it. Training to use his power? It doesn't sound too complex. The guy is talking about how his ability allows him to stockpile force in a limb and release it all at once. It sounds almost like one for all. But it sounds like it can also be a big amplifier to his own power. Deku's able to use 45 to 50% of the power. With Fa Jin, who knows how much more strong he can be. The third user, he's a little wary. Though, he does tell Deku he needs more time to learn about his power. If he doesn't, then he might slip up. Something bad can happen to him. Deku, however, he is adamant about it. Right now, he does need any advantage he can get. And the third, he's not against it. Though he does keep telling Deku about the consequences, the drawbacks, the strain it may put on his body. Yes, he might be wearing some fancy suit, but it can hurt him in the long run. And Deku does understand. The man might give him the power when he thinks he's ready. Or he might be able just to pull it one day. He did pull the fourth user's ability. He needed it. It just manifested out of nowhere. So did Black Whip. But then there's N. He's not really sure when he might need Smokescreen. I mean, a lot of his battles have been out in the open. The only type of stealth operation they had before had him being a distraction. Yeah. Like they'd ever need to use Smokescreen. Maybe it could be useful, but he's not really a stealthy guy. Now, they do go to wake Deku from his nap. And he is told about what's happening. Right now, he does get to open his eyes. And he does get to turn his head and see that they're beginning to lower the cargo door. The massive ramp does begin to come down. And the wind does start to bellow as Deku, he does go to turn to see what everyone's doing. Right now, a large pallet of supplies is sent flying out of the plane. It does slide down a ramp and go to start dropping. It falling out of sight as another one does get to leave, followed by about a few others. And Deku does get to watch on. Right now, people handing out parachutes and talking about what to do. Bakugo, he does get to take one. And Deku, he does start to hear someone yell about what they're going to be doing. Right now, a man does go to inform them about what to do. It's the middle of the damn night, but they've got a lot that's happening. The city does have some lights on. However, they're going to be trying to drop into an area where the lights, they should be hidden. Make sure to drop into the city and find their way to the administration building. They should be able to see it. It's the tower with lights on that has the logo. If they do get lost, just try to hold out where they are. And if fighting does break out, then try to make sure to hide and stay safe. Keep their radios on them and use them for emergency contact only. Someone may be able to jam their communications if things go bad. But what could be worse is someone listening to them. This drop, it's undocumented. There's no paperwork, no records of it happening, and it can't be tracked. But with the fact that the planes themselves are in the vicinity, a lot of noise has been generated. And they may have aircrafts detecting them already. As people, they do start running over, them hesitating on the ramp before jumping off. And there is Deku. Deku, he does going to start walking away. Someone talking about what he needs to do with a parachute. But he does going to bring up his mask, putting it on and walking over to the ramp. Him looking out and feeling the wind try to pull him. He does it to activate One for All. Rhino Bakugo coming over and leaping out. Him not saying a word. Kirishima, though, he does go to hype himself up, running over and going to jump out. Him acting as if he's diving into a pool. And Deku does watch him drop like a sack of potatoes immediately. Him falling fast. And he does gotta do one thing. He does step out into open air. And he does begin to fall. Right now, wind pressure, the speed, it does begin to drown out everything. His hearing is bombarded by the sound of wind. After a second, he does feel like he's gone deaf. He can hear nothing but the air blaring past him. And there is where Deku, he does descend to a decent height. Him watching parachutes open left and right. Before he does go to activate float and slow himself down. Right now, he does go to come to a stop in the air, looking down at the city the size of his hand. He doesn't know how many miles up he is, but he just needs to keep an eye on the parachutes. Up here, from his position, they glow. He can see them in the moonlight. If Hawks is out here, he'll try to destroy supplies. If his feathers are as strong as they say they are, then he just needs to wait and see. Maybe he might find him there. He'll cut parachutes. But that's another thing. How can they be so sure? Danger sense going off. Deku going to throw his right hand out and go to use a flick. Him going to boost to the right, or go to boost to the left and out of the way. Feathers coming right towards him. And Deku, he does go to see that. Right now, him looking down before turning around. Seeing the feathers come at him again and swing back around. Throwing his fist out, and this time he does a turn off float. Him gonna fall. Deku using the air pressure to build up speed as he does in a move. And start falling towards a crate of supplies. Right now, he does go to see the pallet. And he does a watch turning his head as people, they do begin to have some of the parachutes go out. It looks bad. Though, whenever Deku does land, he does go to turn. Leaping off and going to change speeds as he does an activate float and boost behind him. Using air pressure at 40%. Moving through the air and trying to look around. Come on, come on. This thing should be able to infrared turning on in his helmet. And he does a look. Come on, heat source, heat source. Him, gonna feel danger sense, go off again, but this time gonna throw out flicks underneath him, boosting himself up into the air, throwing his hands up behind him, boosting again. And he does a turn looking around, trying to find it. Trying to find the person who, come on, the guy has wings, right? The feathers. No, they've got some heat on them. Okay, so where are you? Where are you? Come on, come on. Deku trying to find him. Trying to find Hawks. He should be here. Deku going to move closer and closer to the ground. And whenever Deku does finally get close enough, he does see the man. He does sit there floating in the air, just trying to focus. Him going to slash at crates of supplies and send them tumbling towards the ground. Deku watching as someone, they have a parachute cut. He doesn't know who it is, but out of the hundreds of people parachuting into the city in the crates, he can't save them. He can't move fast enough, can he? No. They're already dead. Though Hawks doesn't suspect them. Okay. Deku looking around before finding a crate of supplies. And he does go to land on top of it and go to duck down. Right now, Deku does get a wait. Feathers do come flying past. Right now, them slicing into some of the boxes he's laying on top of and trying to punch holes in the parachute, try and cut the cord. Deku, he does go to raise his head and look around, seeing a ton of other pallets. They are having their strings cut. And people, they are either blasting out towards the ground or attacking the feathers. A lot of them are dodging. And Deku, he does hear the loud explosions of Bakugo's power. Right now, Bakugo, Deku does a turn, looking over the side and seeing that he does stand on top of a pallet. It's way beneath him, but he is trying to defend the supplies. And Deku, he does go to stand and look around. A lot of other people are doing the same thing. If their parachutes gave out near a supply, pallet, they try to get on. But Hawks is aiming at those too. Deku activating Float. This time, him reaching with Black Whip and grabbing the pallet as he does think. That slowed it down. Okay, so he's attacking the ones with more weight, moving faster? Not a bad tactic. Though, Deku reaching out, using Black Whip to pull on the side of the parachute cords, him angling the pallet in a different direction, towards two others, and going to begin manipulating the strings on them. And Hawks does try to pay attention. Right now, he does get to see a number of things happening. He does get to see fire, electricity, lightning, the sky filled with explosions, and he does get to hear a lot of people screaming and falling. A lot of them are just trying to attack, make sure they land on the ground safely, or at least alive. He's already taken out a number of people. He does need to call for backup, though. This is a lot more than last time. Though, there's a lot happening too. The guy over there, he's distracting him. Though, maybe he should do a bit more. Right. Shit. A lot of these guys, they're very annoying. But then there's over there. Okay. Hawks, you good? I'm fine. Good. Listen, we got a problem here. What is it? There's way more than last time. I'm handling it, but a lot more supplies are going to land. Though, I got another issue. Him focusing on 3 pallets in particular. All of them are moving in different directions. Did he cut the strings? Him looking that way. But he shouldn't have been able to... No, they're moving deliberately? Them all going to smash on each other and then go start flying in different directions. And he does stare at that, confused. His senses are telling him that something's going on here. Looking around and going to see someone making their way towards him. And Deku, he does go to wait. Someone's making their way towards Hawks on the approach. Him on the underside of a pallet. It slowly moving around and behind Hawks. And Deku does get ready, reaching down and twisting something on the side of his suit. And he does get ready. Just gotta activate the mechanism, and it should be good. It should all play out fine. Though, him going to hold on to the pallet from underneath, and going to charge up one for all as hard, if not as much as possible. 50%. Huh. Okay. If he's right, this should work well. Him going to launch off. And the moment he does, Hawks does go to hear a massive boom. Him going to turn. and something does come flying towards him, covered in lightning. Deku boosting himself through the air with 40% of One for All, twice, and the loud booms can be heard. Hawks, he does a spin, immediately using all of his feathers to try and counter whatever the hell is coming right at him. It's fast. A Nomu? No, wait. How can him going to send out a massive attack as feathers do go flying at Deku? And Danger Sense does go off. Right now, him throwing his hand out and to the side, as he does go to activate the spring mechanism in his leg. And he does come flying in, slashing out with a kick. And Hawks, he is struck by Deku's attack. Deku, he does catch an attack from Hawks. Right now, him flying through the air as he does use float and turn. Right now, him shooting a Black Whip and going to grab onto the building to try and break. And whenever Deku does get to finally break, he does get to hear the building crack. Right now, the wind pressure dispersing from the attack. And all the feathers Hawks was controlling drop. Everyone, they do just stare on. As right now Deku, he does look around. Blood does cover the blade that sprang from the back of his leg. And he does go to try and figure out where it bring up Black Whip and going to shoot it out. It flying through the air and grabbing onto the object, Deku does it'll pull back in. Hawks' head. And Hawks, he does carry an expression of surprise. Right now, dead. And Deku, he does get a turn. A number of people, they just go to freeze. And they do get to stare at him. Deku flying back towards the building and going to land. As his tendrils do to pull him in. And he does have a lot going through his mind. Going to land and look around. Okay, so Hawks doesn't have some sort of regeneration ability, right? Good. It's not some sort of weird body double or the effect of a quirk? Okay, good. Endeavor may not have that ability. He's heard there's a guy at UA who can do that. Make body doubles. Okay then. Well, it's a good thing that palette trick worked. Hawks, come in. Hello? Hawks, come in. I repeat, come in. What was that sound? Hello? God damn it, this isn't funny. Deku pulling it out of his ear and going to toss the head down to the body. Bring out the communicator and going to express. Hello? Who is this? Is Hawks there? Who are you? Are you one of ours? No, I'm not. Who the hell are you? Where is Hawks? Hawks is dead. Though I'm willing to chat if you're willing to give me some information. Who are you? You're lying. Listen, we can negotiate for his release. You could, but you'd only get a corpse. Listen, I'm not messing around when I say he's dead. I just sliced him in two. Though he got my armor, so there's that. I think you know who I am. But if you need a recap, your father offered me a job once. He put a bounty on my head, and I nearly killed your brother. You're Dobby, aren't you? Heard you're in town. Or well, nearby. How about we meet? I'm sure Endeavor is going to love if I kill one of his sons. Though I might kill the wrong one. You think you can kill me? I just killed your, friend, lover, brother? I don't know a lot about your family, but I know this guy might have been your friend, right? There's a reason why you two were paired up? Something like that? He was my friend. Yeah, see? Good chemistry and all that. Now, do you know who I am? No. Do you know who I am? Clearly you do. So we'll skip the formalities and you can surrender. No. Listen, my name's Izuku. Tell that to your father. Deku going to crush the communicator. And he does get to hear his radio continue to beep with information. People talking in scattered voices before someone does come onto the line and order for radio silence. Them shouting loudly as after a minute things do begin to die down. And he does begin to express. Team E, respond. What is happening? New arrival team. Ground forces, anyone, respond. Channel 7. Deku bringing up his radio. Clicking to Channel 7. This is Izuku Midoriya. Arrival team, or ground team, or whatever. People from the plane, at least one of them. Izuku? Yes. I've heard of you. This is Ingenium. My brother has told me about you a little bit. He hasn't told me much, but he said that well, that's besides the point. Come in. Report. Report is simple. We encountered forces and eliminated them. I just took down Hawks. I'm sorry, can you repeat that? Hawks? Another voice does come in. And Deku does hear a few other people begin to talk on the line. Clearly, a lot of them are listening. And Ingenium does order silence once again. You are claiming to take down Hawks. Yeah, he's kind of bleeding all over my new shoes. So, there's that. Bring his body in. We can confirm it. And if you did take him out, that's a big help to us. Skies might be clear for a little bit of time, but that might also be a concern. If the Endeavor faction finds out, I just told them. Why? The element of surprise is something we need right now. I'm sure they're surprised. Listen, they know Hawks is down. They need to pull back and plan accordingly, right? They do. But you're giving them the opportunity. It would have been better to lead them into a fucking trap. Okay, kid? Now, bring him in. That's in order. Right now we're on 12th Street at a large building. We'll fire a flare. Now that the element of surprise is gone, it's good that we all regroup. To all those listening, bring in what you can. Now, to anyone else listening currently, go to Utility Channel 8, and we'll see what we can do. Bring in what supplies you can. That goes doubly and especially for whoever else is here. Anyone with some sort of enhanced strength or ability to move needs to bring in supplies. That food's vital, along with that water. Deku understanding. Right now, him going to look around and go to see a crate of supplies that does sit there. Though he does a turn back, looking at Hawks. Him bring up his hand and using Black Whip. The tendrils begin to pop out of his shoulder and back. Right now, them going to pick up Hawks' body as he does it somewhat wrap it up. And he does then go to make his way over to a crate of supplies, beginning to lift it up, but feeling a bit odd doing so, especially with how uneven it is. And he does try to start using Black Whip for this. Him being told by Banjo about exactly the best way to handle this. And he does decide just to get it over with. Him wrapping Black Whip underneath the pallet and going to fly through the air. Right now, him kicking off with his shoes in order to get more movement out of the ability. And people, they do to see Deku's arrival. He does go to arrive with a crate of supplies, a body draped over it, but with clear red wings they do to recognize. And Deku, he does come flying down to land. Him going to drop the crate off and then go to move down. Talking about it. Going to bring Hawks' head up as Ingenium does quickly go to approach, ordering people to stand down. And he does a turn looking at all the new arrivals. A number of people are here. Though Deku, he does a turn and try and look for his team. Ingenium smacking him on the shoulder and expressing, "Good job, kid." Thanks. I tried my best. Though someone was a distraction. I think it was Bakugo. He caught his attention and I took the chance to strike. Well, either way, good job. That bounty is going to be pretty good for you, though. But right now, I think it's best that we try and get you someplace to stay. Maybe rinse off. You're, a little bloody. Thanks. You injured? No, I think I'm fine. Though, armor is a bit shot. Him going to glance down at the scratches from the feathers. And Ingenium does a turn and go to raise a hand. Him going to roar out about how they got one of his top 10. And this, it does go to be like a man in the desert finding cold water. Something that does go to refresh and soothe many of them. Hawks was the bane of their existence at the moment. And that bane is currently rotting on a pallet of supplies. So, there's that. A ton of other people beginning to arrive. And when Deku's team does arrive, they do go to see the scene. People, they are pulling a ton of different items off of the pallet. Cartons of food and boxes full of medicine. Some people even do stand there and go to look over a ton of different things. And there is Deku. He does stand there waiting for his team. And when everyone does come running over, they do go to make their way over to see what he's done. And Deku, he has a bit of a shit-eating grin talking about it. They did pretty well, huh? Hey, where's Shinso? He didn't make it. What? But I thought he landed. We can't find him. No one saw him land and he hasn't checked in. Shit. Okay, but everyone else is fine? I think we're all fine. Asui does go say. And Kirishima does talk about it. Yeah, some of them were lucky. Though, that swarm of knives was insane. He wasn't so sure about hitting the ground, but he managed. But looks like everyone's in a bit of a good mood. Yeah. Good job. Bakugo nodding his head at Deku. And everyone, they are told about what to do. Right now helping to unpack supplies and being given a chance to rest. They're put in a tent and told about the situation. They're expecting an attack from the Endeavor family. They have people on guard, and with the supplies they have, people all over the city are scattering to try and claim what they can. The scarce resources are for survival. And if the family can hold them, that means they have control over who gets what. Otherwise, people will begin to devolve into violence. They have to feed their troops first before they feed the civilians. And Deku, he does nod his head in understanding, not liking the idea of people being hungry. But he does have to swallow that pill. If they're too hungry to fight, the city will fall. It does leave a bitter taste in his mouth. His father died in this city. And now it's under attack again. This time it's the other way around, though. The Yagis are defending it, while the Endeavor family, they're the ones sieging it. And it's kind of funny. The city took his father, and now he's here to fight for it. It does produce a small chuckle while Deku's laying down in his tent. They haven't found Shinso. It's been more than 2 hours, and he still hasn't come to camp. The guy might be dead. They might be able to go out on a search tomorrow morning. But they've also got to look at the defenses of the city. They're trying to starve them out. But Deku's thinking of an offensive. Go out and claim another one of the man's lieutenants. He took one by surprise. Taking Endeavor's son, especially if he can move fast, it will be easy. It'll be simple. Though the guy may not be as distracted as before. The game, it's only just begun. And with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.